Guess who's back? Back again. That's right. Just like Slim Shady. Jose Mourinho, who looks more and more like Slim Shady as his hair turns a graceful white. He's now the boss of Fenerbahçe.
Yeah, and he was welcomed like as a legend, as a hero.
As a hero and legend that he is.
Your shirt is my skin now. Which was, an amazing punchline again from him. They had a great season, although they finished second. Obviously behind
Big points
Galatasaray.
total.
Yeah, massively. I think just under the 100 points. So good squad there for him to go. Since January, I think he looked at other options. There was just not much for him, let's be honest here, apart from Saudi Arabia and Fenerbahçe. Let's see, but if he does well, the passion and the support around him will be incredible. A court in Barcelona has ruled in appeal that Joan Laporta won't face criminal liability and the club cannot be charged with bribery of the Jose Maria Enriquez Negreira case. So is it okay now? They're all cleared?
Well, Rosell and Bartomeu, of course, are still in trouble.
Yeah.
This is a super complicated legal issue. As I understand it, the club can't be charged with bribery. The club could still be prosecuted for corruption, breach of trust, and false accounting. So, yeah, corruption, bribery, I guess they're different statutes. I don't know. And, of course, they could ultimately face a sporting sanction, too, if they're found guilty. So it's certainly a very messy situation. Jules, I've talked endlessly about Antonio Conte's move to Napoli, so I'll just let you handle this. As we record this, he's in Naples, ready to sign.
I love this, although I think it could go badly pretty quickly.
Do you think?
Yeah. But the fact that they only have the league to play for, obviously, because they're not in Europe next season. The fact that we've seen him hitting the ground running very quickly with clubs. Remember what he did at Chelsea, of course. There's question marks over what players are still going to be there. Is Osimhen will be there next season? What about Kvaratskhelia, etc., etc. But I just love the fact that he's back in football. That's it. For everything, I just love the fact that he's back in football.
It'll be entertaining. I think the plan...
It would be very entertaining.
I think the fear is that they have to sell Osimhen and Kvaratskhelia. I think they're okay parting with one, but they may end up needing to part with both.
UEFA will today confirm that clubs with shared ownership, will be allowed to compete in the same UEFA tournament for the 24-25 season, provided they take certain steps, though. So there will still be a few rules.
Yeah, so this is just a transition year while they finalize their rules for the future. The idea is the top decision-making executives, it's what they call a blind trust, where they're insulated from the other team. They're not kind of allowed to consult with them, although the owner stays the same, and the owner isn't going to be aware of what they're doing. Obviously, the teams involved are Manchester City and Girona, who will both be in the Champions League, and Manchester United and Nice, who will both be in the Europa League. Back to the Champions League final, Jules. Real Madrid have complained that friends and family were not allowed to join in the post-game on-pitch celebrations by heavy-handed stewards. In fact, two people from Real Madrid's own security apparently getting into fisticuffs. Yeah. They're given, for those who don't know, friends and family are given little wristbands so they can come on the pitch, and you can see, you always see the guy carrying the cup, and he's carrying like an infant on the pitch or whatever.
Every year they're allowed the fans and friends and families with the wristbands to go on the pitch. Man City last season, we were there. 2 years ago, we were in Paris. It was the same. So I was even surprised leaving the stadium to see that was not the case, and the players were standing in front of the stands where all their family and friends were, but they were not allowed to come down on the pitch. And I thought, this is weird. And in a way, you take a little bit away from the celebrations, because what you want is, and eventually we saw some families going onto the pitch, the Bellinghams, for example, etc., but you kind of want to share that with them. And if they're like in the stands, in some rows somewhere, it's just not the same. So I thought it was a bit disappointing. I can understand their frustration, certainly. Yeah, we also saw in that game at Wembley 3 pitch invaders and fans trying to break into the ground, both pre-match and during the celebrations without tickets. 53 arrests were made. This is becoming a pattern, though. Yeah,
I mean, we obviously happened in Paris, happened at Wembley for the final of Euro 2020. Which who won that?
I can't remember.
Yeah. No, our producer Freddie, we had a filming location just nearby. He warned us that he said, it seemed to him that a lot of these fans were locals, English, who tried to come in, and they fought with police on horses. Roads were closed off. You got to get the policing right. And this is not on UEFA, it's on local authorities. UEFA obviously can coordinate with them. The one thing that concerns me was the pitch invaders. Apparently, There's a guy on Kick. I'm not often on Kick, the streaming platform.
Me neither.
Not really my thing, but there's a guy on there named Andre Burim. He used to be on YouTube, but was kicked off there. He promised to pay $300,000 to anybody who invaded the pitch carrying some sort of message from him.
Yeah, a T-shirt with his name.
This has to stop. This can't be done. Like that guy who came onto the pitch in those
first 2 minutes, we have 3 back-to-back. It was ridiculous.
Back to back. It could have been dangerous. It's just stupid. I hate the idea of this guy doing it. I want prison sentences.
Yeah.
Good week for Saint-Etienne, one of the fallen giants of French football. They're promoted to Ligue 1 and they have new owners.
Yeah, incredible promotion playoff against Metz, who were third from bottom in Ligue 1. And Saint-Etienne went through their own playoffs from Ligue 2, the second division. There was a red card after 5 minutes. It was just an incredible game. They won it late in extra time, Saint-Etienne, to go back up. And then today, at some point on Monday, when we record this, it will be announced that the Canadian group Kilmer Sports Ventures, owned by Larry Tannenbaum, the billionaire, and directed by our friend Ivan Gazidis, the former Milan and Arsenal CEO.
He's got a bunch of other former Arsenal alums in there. The guy Rosenfeld or Jason,
Rosenfeld,
and Husfami as well.
Exactly, yeah. All 3 of them will then direct the club, lead the club once the takeover is done. I think it's good news for Saint-Etienne. I think Ivan certainly is a very capable CEO to have. And it's even better news that as well as the takeover, they are also going back to Ligue 1, where they belong, really, after 2 years in the second division.
And we got to make this happen. I know I say this, but guys, sponsors, give us money. Sponsor the show so we can go, I want to do a show, Saint-Etienne against Lyon. Gazidis versus Texas. Saint-Etienne against Lyon. There's close proximity. It is one of the great historical derbies. I don't know how many. Saint-Etienne have been gone now for a while, so it's
2 years. So 2 years in
only 2 years. Okay, well, whatever. Feels like a longer time than that because Saint-Etienne have been bad for a long time.
Yeah,
we got to go and do the show from the derby.
Amazing.
Texter, please, John, come on. You invite us, right? We'll say nice things about. No, we won't. We're not transactional that way. But yeah, no, I'm excited.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Fiorentina, we know we're Atalanta in the postponed fixture that ends the Serie A season that was played on Sunday afternoon. But there's bad news for both Fiorentina boss Vincenzo Italiano and the Atalanta defender Giorgio Scalvini.
Yeah, so Italiano is gone. He's been relieved of duty after reaching 2 European finals and playing some exceptional football.
Yeah.
It's a bit disappointing. I know in the end they didn't really see eye to eye. They want to start over. Raffaele Palladino from Monza is gonna take over. I don't expect Italiano to be out long. I think he's got so much to give. And I'm totally heartbroken about Scalvini. I think right now he is probably the second best Italian defender after Bastoni.
Yeah.
He can do it all. He's still very, very young. So rough for him. Italy, of course, also losing Acerbi as well. Looks like Federico Gatti is going to be called up into the squad. Yeah. It's sad.
ACL. Yeah.
In his ACL, he's going to be gone a long time. It's tough, man.
Juventus have officially pulled out of the European Super League and have rejoined the ECA, the European Club Association. Gab, who is left in the Super League?
Real Madrid.
That's what they booed. Their fans booed Alexander Seferin when he came down to the pitch.
Yeah, that's part of it. It's funny, and I saw a report somewhere that I couldn't get this confirmed, but that the organizers A22 have said, the league will start in September 2025, on the same day that the Champions League starts that year. I'm like, okay, it's not going to be a big league. I don't know. They say they have all these teams that have signed up, and that are willing to commit. Let's see. Juventus won't be one of them, apparently.
No.
Unless they really want to go and pull a whole double scam. Double bluff. We
got you.
We're double agents. Francisco Javier Garcia Pimenta is the new coach of Sevilla. Jules, I guess they were impressed with Las Palmas staying up.
Yeah, getting promoted the season before last, then staying up. Very good first half of the season, where I think they were top 10, and then horrendous second half of the season, by the way. I think they won 2 in 19 games.
Pretty crappy football, too.
Well, very good in the first half of the season, then they struggled.
Well, effective football, but it's not.
Yeah, good possession. He's obviously a La Masia product as a coach.
He's not one of those clones, though.
No, not really. Although they were still pretty good at home with the ball. I think they had the second or third highest ball possession at home. Something like that. It's just I think Sevilla could appoint anybody they want. There's issues with the squad. There's issues with money. There's a lot of issues at the club lately. So let's hope that he does well. But I think there's a lot of work to do at every level for that football club next season. Joshua Kimmich has 1 year left on his Bayern contract. No surprise then that he's been linked with his old pal Hansi Flick at Barcelona, Gab.
Surprising it's come down to 1 year left on his deal, frankly. This shows you how quickly he's fallen. This shows you how, I don't know, guys, they really believe, Tuchel's not big on him.
Yeah.
And not a surprise link with Hansi Flick. Again, the usual thing, Barcelona, how are you going to pay for him? I'm going to throw this out, though, because Alex Kirkland and I did our Real Madrid keep and dump. We've been doing this series. Liverpool should be coming out soon. In the context of Real Madrid, where I think you have to think succession plan at left back, where Ferland Mendy only has a year left. And they've been linked with Alphonso Davies. They could bring Miguel back from Girona, which is what I would strongly consider doing. Or you could go for an attacking right back, where Lucas Vazquez and Carvajal are both in their 30s. I think some people are linking with Trent Alexander-Arnold, also a year left. I think you could do a lot worse than Joshua Kimmich, because whether he's right back in that role, whether he steps into a midfield position to give you some creativity and passing, he's not that old. He can give you a bunch of good years. I think it's something to consider if ultimately he wants to leave Bayern. But I'd like to get Vincent Kompany's views on this.
Surely he won't want, Kimmich sounds like a Kompany type of player.
But I'll tell you what, he goes back into midfield if Kompany's with Kompany, because Mazraoui and poor Sasha Boui's got to play at some point, right? More Barca, Jules. Ansu Fati back from his loan at Brighton insists he's not injured.
No.
And he's ready to have a great season at Barcelona.
Yeah, well, as good as the one he had in Brighton?
I'm only kidding. He was injured in Brighton. De Zerbi, chaos.
Yeah, I mean, we want to believe in him. We love him. So we want to believe that he can have a very good season, that he can kind of relaunch his career in a way. But the more time passes, the more we watch him and the more it's not happening, the more we doubt him, obviously.
Well, the problem is he's on big money.
Big money. There's a lot of competition in his position, of course. At least he's got a contract, so he's registered.
Right.
No, it's not the case of everybody in that squad. We'll see. Maybe Flick could work his magic around him and do something.
If he has a strong, I think really the best scenario is he has a strong preseason, shows that he's fully fit and whatever, and you go Ansu Fati and Lamine Yamal, and then you're good, and then you can let the other, you can maybe sell Rafinha for cash, and not re-sign the guy we're going to talk about about next.
Because reporting Marca, which is a Madrid newspaper, we know that, but they report that Flick wants to keep Joao Felix at the club. What do you think?
Oh, this is where I get all mischievous and conspiratorial. Marca, as you know, are from Madrid. They're close to Real Madrid and Atletico. If I am Atletico Madrid, if I'm Joao Felix, if I'm Berta, I love to plant this story.
Yeah.
Because I don't want Joao Felix and his salary and Uncle George. I don't want these guys back in my club.
No.
Very, very simple. Say, Flick loves them. And then maybe there'll be some popular uprising in the streets of Barcelona saying, Laporta, keep Flick. You have to keep Joao Felix because Flick likes him. And, people are going to ask Flick the question. What's Flick going to say? No, he's not going to say, no, I don't like Joao Felix. It's an issue. It's an issue. For me, personally, it's a non-starter. You do not keep Joao Felix.
Yeah.
You do not, unless Flick goes to you on your hands and knees and said, hey, I can make this guy live up to his talent. Otherwise, no, you cut him loose because he doesn't fit your brand. He doesn't fit your mold. And he has this big contract with Uncle George attached.
Yeah.
So, no.